Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Delusional's Arcade. So in this episode we're doing part 2. This is the bar top here. You can see it's been painted and stuff. We're actually going to do that in this episode where we show it being painted. We're going to do a time lapse on that, have some fun. And then we're going to kind of test fit some of the buttons and joysticks like you see here. I have the LS32s, Saimitsu's in there and the Sanwa buttons, along with the admin panel all done. We put the TV in as well. This is going to be a 19-inch monitor. Fits in perfectly in this kit, and as you can see, I chose the speakers which I want to put in there. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right into the video. Okay guys, so I put a drop cloth down. We're going to be the easiest way. I'm probably going to prime the inside first. All right, so let's see, we'll go ahead and prime it. I'm not going to do anything down here just yet. I'm just doing solely the inside. And I'm just using Rust-Oleum Universal Bonding Primer. Okay, now that I'm priming it, I'm giving second thoughts to the spray can, to the rattle can, because it's going to use, I mean, that was an entire can, and I still haven't even touched the sides, and that was one coat. What I may do is just let this cure, let it dry, and then go over it with Rust-Oleum Black. I have oil-based paint, and then see how that sticks to the inside. It's more of an experiment, that's why I just did the inside. I didn't touch the sides right now, but. So let me go ahead, I'm going to move this over, I'll let it dry in the sun for a little bit and cure, and then we'll figure out if we want to paint it. And if I do that, I still have to do it outdoors because oil-based really is pretty strong, the fumes. But if I go latex, I can do it downstairs in the basement. All right, let me think about it. I'll do some research and I'll get back to it. Okay guys, so I gave it some thought, I did some research, and you can paint over oil-based paint. Supposedly you have to sand it if it has a shine, but because it got so soaked in on that one, I'm not even going to bother. It's only on the inside too. So, as an experiment, I'm actually going to stick with what I know because I've done the Vigolix ones where I do this primer here. It's actually tinted slightly gray, and then this one is space black. And if you look at it here, it kind of goes on a little bit blue looking, and then over time, when it cures, it turns black. Yeah, this I think is a better call because that spray paint would have just taken forever. Especially on the edges, it was just soaking it right up. And I would have gone through like probably 5 cans. So. And I'm not going to bother painting inside here. I might, we'll see, but at this point, I think it'll be fine the way it is. So I'm just, this is primer. Again, it's tinted primer, so it's normally white, but I had it tinted gray. That way the black will go on a lot better. And I use this on all my other builds that I've done, except for the Harriman Customs actually comes with it laminated already, so you don't have to bother doing this. Okay, so this is the cabinet here. I just wanted to show you, see how splotchy it looks? It's pretty bad there. Where, you know, that's where I was trying to paint. And this here, it just soaked it up. It would not spray it in there. So I think I made the right choice compared to the other one. This one is horrible. You can see on the top as well. Looks really bad. All right, you live, you learn, right? And then this one here is the back of the control panel. I didn't do the front at all, but this is the back where I primed it. I primed the sides too. And then afterwards I just threw some black spray paint on it, satin black, and it doesn't look too hot either. So I'm gonna save my satin black spray painting for like metal parts and stuff like that if I'm doing brackets and whatnot, or coin doors. But wood, I'm gonna stick to latex, I think, or oil-based. Oil-based works really well too if you're putting on side art. All right, for this one I brought the power of the roller. So I can get this on there. You definitely want to use foam when you're doing this. So that way it goes on smooth, it looks like you sprayed it. So you put a coat, you could probably put a couple coats and then sand in between and then do another coat again. Okay, so this came out pretty good. Did a quick test. Looks really nice. The edges are soaking it up like crazy. You can see right there. So yeah, but it came out pretty good. I'm actually gonna flip it down. I have it at an angle there so it can dry. Looks like it came out pretty good. That's one side. And then this is where you can see how like splotchy it is. That's where I sprayed it. So when it dries, I'm gonna sand it a little bit because it's on the outside. The inside, I didn't really care. I just went over it. This on top is a foam roller, so it came out nice. And did the bottom as well. The back, I tried to get in with the crevices, you know, with the brush. So it's a combo brush and roller. And then that I left alone. You can see actually there's an ant. That's the bad thing about like doing stuff outside. Stuff lands in your paint. But I'm gonna sand it, it should be fine. And I did the interior here. You can see without my shadow there. There we go. So that's it. Okay guys, so we're back. I actually brought it inside. It's a lot cooler in here. It's air conditioned. It's really hot outside. And also, you know, there were no bugs. I got really lucky that stuck on it or anything. Came out pretty good. I actually made the right choice of bringing it in. And since it's latex, it doesn't do any fumes that are harmful. So I just brought it inside. It's just easier. So the back door here, I painted, let's see, grab it. Painted about half of it. So you can see, came out really good. Looks awesome. I still got to do the back. I did some of the sides. You can see it kind of soaked it up a little bit. So I'll give that another coat. But in the meantime, you know, I figured, why not? Let's go ahead and get this done. I'm probably going to stick it on these little things. They're like little risers. So it's cool. You can lift them up. You can take them off. So I'm going to just take them off like that. These are, they're called bench cookies. They're really useful. They have little connectors inside. They even have this little thing if you want to have stuff that's painted. You know, you hardly get it touched. You can see I already had primer on it from some other stuff I painted. So I'm just going to put those to the side. I'm going to use the bench cookies here. And if you guys want, I can leave a link in the description, but I figured you can just Google it. It's called bench cookie. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is, let me take this off. And by the way, I put some buttons in it just to see how it would look. I widened the buttons a little bit. All I did was take like a Dremel and just, you know, shave off a little bit on the inside, just really slow. And I was able to squeeze these OBSF buttons in. It's either OBSF or OBSN. I can't remember which is which. One is a screw on, this one are the snap in. So it has a nice tight fit. I did these two. These are the admin buttons. So I'm going to take those out. Let me go ahead and, you know what, I'll leave this alone. I'll do the control panel later. But these definitely can come out. You just kind of push them out. They're like friction fit, really snug. So these are made for really metal, that they snap. But I chose to use them so I wouldn't have to cut the other side. Because normally with the nut, it doesn't fit. You have to actually make it bigger and route out. Kind of like what I did on the Vigo licks that I have, except I use a drill bit instead. So let me put that on the side. And I think at this point, what I want to do, I think I'm going to paint it inside first with this, you know, it's just a throwaway brush. And then after I do that, I'm going to turn it on its side with the bench cookies underneath. And I'm going to paint the side with it down. So for now, let's just go ahead and put this underneath. It's cool because they have rubber on the bottom there. So you're able to, like, it grips it really good. Lifts it up so I can kind of get under it. So that's what's really neat about them. So I already shook this. I'll do it some more just in case. I never use a stick on them. I feel that's messy. It takes away your paint. So I kind of do this. Works just as good. I have this thing to open up the cans. It's actually way better than using a screwdriver. It's made for it. So this is just a regular throwaway brush. So I'm just kind of just filling in, you know, just all the cracks and crevices. Okay guys, so we're back. Everything seems to have cured really nice. I'm probably going to give it a quick little sanding and then we can go ahead and put the black coat on. But before I do that, I wanted to kind of get this painted. This wasn't painted at all. You can see on the back, I painted, I had sprayed it. I'm going to actually leave that alone, not do anything more to it. And I'm just going to, you know, prime this just like this. But before I do it, I want to drill the holes for the joysticks. The joysticks are going to be top mounted. Well, under mounted actually here, but it's going to be, you're going to see the bolts on the top by design. I kind of like that look. I think it looks really cool. So it does have a little bit of play here, you know, left and right and up and down. So I'm going to be really careful. I don't want to just do it and then it's crooked here. I want to kind of put it together like that. So now that it's good, I'm going to kind of turn it slightly. That looks good right there. And let me just double check this side. Yep, that looks dead on. So now that it's there, I'm going to hold it in place. And then I'm going to kind of just push down. It's going to be hard to hold at the same time. It's fine. So there's one. And then I think what I'm going to do, instead of banging it, I'm just going to put it right in the center here. And then just kind of just do that by hand. It's a little easier. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill those two first. And then I'll drill the other two once I'm done. There it is. Nice 4 bolts right there. It's going to be good. So let me do the same thing to the other side here. Okay guys, so I did the other end. I did it off camera and the other joystick, and it looks great. So I'm going to go ahead and get out the paint. I'm going to prime this. I'll do that off camera as well. And then we're going to start painting this. I'll do a time lapse because this is completely dry now. And we're going to get this painted black, satin black. And then once it cures, we can put this on, start putting controls in it. I got to order the plexiglass, and the artwork I still have to button up as well. So great. So let's go ahead and get this done.
Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets. Live with every breath, see my message start to spread. And I had so many dreams, then you hit your teens. Life ain't really what it seems, trying to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, let me in. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable. Let me in, let me know me, yeah, I got only a path, I'm lonely. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable. Let me in, let me know me, yeah, I got only a path, I'm lonely. No fake love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'm gonna show you all the path. If you want it bad, I'm gonna show you where it's at. Yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done, I'll be number one. Working hella hard until I get just what I want. Yeah, rise just like the sun, yeah, fatal like a gun. Shooter's gonna shoot and I'm gonna shoot until I won. Yeah, always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it.
Okay guys, so we're back, and what we're going to do, you can see the thing is kind of all set down here. It dried, it cured, it looks really good. It goes on blue at first because it's wet, but eventually it'll turn black over time. It's called Space Black if you guys are curious. It's at Home Depot. And then here, I got these hinges here. This one actually is for the back door, holds up to 13 pounds. 2 of them should be fine for the back door, so it'll swing down. And then I'm gonna put this as well, which is the monitor brackets, which holds that piece of wood in there so we can adjust it. In the meantime, let's put this in and we'll take it from there. I think these pins come out. These can come out. You can just knock them through, and they do come out if you need to, but. All right, that looks great. Closes nice and tight. And they look okay. You know, they had different colors. They had bronze too, but I wanted to get the zinc colored. It'll fold down. I can do stuff, work on it. So let me see if I can find the lock for this. I'm gonna go ahead and locate one. I'm assuming it's just 5/8 inch because it goes through like that. So let me see if I can find one. All right, so there's there. Pop this in there. We're gonna put this on. And I think the way this is situated, would it fit? This one goes to that one. Yeah, these are the older locks. But I think that one might do it. Once I find the key, it'll turn and it'll fit. And if I have to bend it slightly, that's fine. Yeah, this one is a lot nicer. And because this rubs against the bar top, I think what I may do is put that piece that I had. This might be it. Let's see. Yeah. This one doesn't really have any grip on it. Let's see about this one. This one either. Well, you know what? This is just a plate. I'd rather do that so I don't have to mess anything up. Yeah, that's way better. And I dropped another piece. There we go. So that's on there. I'll tighten it later. And then this looks like it's locked at this point. Let's see. Nope. It actually is unlocked. And that's going to be locked. Yeah. All right, so I'll put this on here for now. And these are one of the washers, I mean the nuts with like this plastic piece inside that makes it stay. There we go. So I'm not going to be able to tighten it all the way. But I will find the key for that, and then we'll just use that for now because this is pretty close how it's hitting. See how it's hitting it there? Once it puts it all together, I'll bend it slightly and it should be able to reach. Let me double check that again. If I go here, yeah, it's going to hit the top, so it'll be fine. So that's what I'll use. I'll find the key for that later. So I want to put this thing on. This is the monitor mount. I have to find screws that actually reach. I'm going to use this monitor right here. This is just the Dell 19-inch monitor. The important thing here is that it has, you're going to see, here are the outputs on it. You really want either DVI or VGA. VGA is usually good for a scanline generator. I'm not sure if I'm going to put that on mine yet. I'm not really sure. But the DVI is there, so it gives me the option of either one. It's going from HDMI out, which I have to convert either to VGA, which I have the adapter, or DVI. So I got to figure out what I want to do. I have a little adapter. It's really easy. You pop on there, and it has HDMI in, but that's only for video. So this is strictly video. There's no audio on this whatsoever. That's going to be a whole separate thing to do. But this is a 19-inch, 2007 FP is the model number. If I put this in here like that, it's going to hold it. So I definitely have to mount this on there first. Let me get the control panel on here. So that's going to get in there. And still got to figure out how I'm going to mount that. If I want to put hinges maybe here, where it kind of swings up a little bit. And then that's probably what I'll do is I'll put hinges down here. It'll swing up to stay like that. And then I can put it down and it'll Velcro shut on there and there because it needs to be really sturdy. I'm not sure if Velcro alone will hold it right here. It might. Not really sure. Anyway, so that on there. And then this is going to go, and I believe if it's this way, the image is going to be turned to the right, so I have to put it this way. So that's the way it's got to go. And I'm going to hold the back door because I'm going to lean it on there. I think it's going to go like that. It's barely going to be visible here. And I might have to do kind of that right there. If I were to mount it horizontally, you would do it like that. But since I'm doing vertical, you got to mount it this way. And then I got to figure out, I don't think it matters at this point. I just got to center it up. But I believe this goes to the right. So it would go like this, and then this would go like that here. So let me just do that. The reason I'm picking this particular model is I have something ridiculous, like 9 of these in storage. So yeah, so if it breaks or something, you can just easily replace it. It'll fit in like a glove. If you cut the bezel to match this, it'll match as well. It looks like it's okay. There we go. So it doesn't matter, I'm not putting it in because they're adjustable, kind of leaving them loose a little bit so that I can slide this up and down depending. And that's pretty dead on right there. And what I'll do is I'll tighten it down, see where we're at. All right, that looks good enough. All right, so now that that's done, we want it to be on this side, right? The dell is going to be to the right. All right, guys, so we're back. So I positioned it. It's kind of leaning on there. I'm going to put this side in first, and then I'll pull it back. And the hinges that I'm using, it's these small ones here. I was going to use only 2 originally, but just to be safe, I'm going to put 4 in there. I'm going to put 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top here. So I have these leaned on there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drill. And the drill little trick you use, if you don't want to drill all the way through, you know, let's say you want to be there. This will allow it, when it gets up to the tape, that's a little tip on, so it won't go all the way through like that. Can you see that? So that's the max I want to be at because I don't want to poke through on the other side. And you definitely want to do this before you put on the artwork, because if you do screw up and you go through, you can always sand it down, repaint it. You can't do that if the artwork's on there. So let me go ahead and just drill this in here. I'm going to put that right there. And that's the most I'll go because that told me to stop. So let me try the next one. There we go. There we go. All right. That's good. Let's see how it's tilted a little bit. Now I'm going to turn it around. So let me go ahead and flip this over, and we'll try to figure out what to do for the rest here. So, all right, so let me open this up here. And make sure this is nice and straight. All right. All right, so structurally, this thing is now solid with that in there. It's great. Just taking all the little dust out. So let me close this up here. We'll turn it around. Quickly take a look at it. So there it is. And I just realized I mounted it incorrectly. When it rains, it pours, guys. So this Dell symbol is supposed to be on the right. But because I'm taking off the back anyway, I'm going to put those washers that are a little more deep and wide. I may have to actually buy some because these are not cutting it. It's slipping through, and you can see it's a little tiny bit crooked. This side's a little higher than that side. So what I'm going to do is, now that I have that, I can center it up, tighten it as I need it. I can actually take this out, line it up, hold it up while I'm in the back. So pretty easy. What I want to do now actually is I wanted to do a test fit of the joystick just to make sure it fits in there, if I need to widen any of these holes or anything. The buttons fit in pretty good. I'll show you some buttons if I snap them in. These are snap-in buttons. They're not the ones that you screw in on the other side. They're either OBSN or OBSF. I can't remember the difference between the two, like the model numbers, but I know one of them is snap-ins where this will actually snap in on the controls. But since they have like pressure and stuff, if you cut these exactly right, which is what I did, I actually took a Dremel and kind of made it a little tiny bit wider. So that one's in there. That one's in there. And this one here was going to be, let me try it again. Oh, okay, now it's fitting. I think it was just because of the paint. But those are the 3 buttons, and then I'll have the other ones over here. The lips are perfectly next to each other. They're not overlapping or anything. Oh man, that feels really good. I can't wait to start playing this thing. I might get silencers to make them less like, you hear that sound? The plastic, I might get them so they're like more quiet, I guess. You do have silencers that you put inside the actual thing where it has like a piece of foam that actually hits it. I'll just put a whole bunch in there. Actually doing the other side too. All right, let's get these while I'm at it. All right, so those are all in. Let's put this one in first since that's what we had originally. It should fit perfectly because we measured exactly where it's supposed to be. It's going to make me want to finish the bar top quicker because, oh, look at that. That looks good. That's perfect. So that's it. It looks great. Really good. All right, so I'm going to let it, I was going to put on the artwork in this episode, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it cure a little longer because I'm going to leave it for like a week. I'll get to it next week. I still have to sand a little bit on top where it's a little rough. But for the most part, it looks good. You really want the edges to be, you know, really like razor sharp so that when you run a thing along there, a X-Acto knife, it'll cut the artwork perfectly. So I'm not going to put the artwork on just yet. Again, I do have to sand the top a little bit just to make it a little better and more refined, but it's looking like a great little bar top, and I can't wait to get this thing done. Let me zoom out a little bit so you guys can see it. But it's looking really, really good. You know, you could see that part on the top, what I'm talking about, how it's a little rough. If you look right there, can you see that? It has like, especially right there, there's like these little bubbles that formed. It actually dried like that. So no big deal. You just take 200 grit sandpaper. I have a block, which I'm going to take and just sand it, and then I'll repaint it real quick. I'm going to let it cure for about a week, like I said. Oh, and by the way, I have speakers. I had these from my other project that I did, the Star Wars arcade. I actually had these in them. But I'm going to put them like this. These terminals are going to be facing the back like that. They're going to be going right there and right there. So they're going to look really awesome. I'm probably going to put an old t-shirt. If you get a t-shirt and you cut it up, I like to staple gun the t-shirt here so that the light doesn't bleed through, because if you do this, there's still like holes you can see where it kind of leaks through the side here. So to keep this all intact, I'm going to have to basically put a t-shirt, I staple gun like a square right there, then I put this on top of it, and then screw those in there. And to get the screw gun in there, obviously you can't use one of these. I have a special tool that's like about this high that you can, it's like a ratchet, where you can actually hold it and screw the screws in there. So that's what I'm going to do to get this to be on there. But these are piles. They're pretty loud. They're two-way speakers. They're 180 watts max, which is kind of overkill, but they work great. They're 4 ohm, and these work fine. I have the amp that does 4 or 8 ohm. It's like this tiny little amp that, you know, works perfectly on these, and it sounds great. I've had them on my, like I said, the Star Wars bar top. It's pretty loud, and it's going to be shooting right down here, bouncing off the plexi. It's going to be in your face. Cannot wait to finish this thing. It's looking really good. Okay, guys, so I guess that about does it for this episode. You know, if you guys want to subscribe, you can click on the link below. Don't forget to hit the notification icon. Looks pretty cool. But that's the bar top there. Cannot wait to get this thing done. It's going to be pretty badass. And, you know, we're going to continue in the next series where we put the artwork on. I'm probably going to go to Joe Sabo to do that. I still have to call him and let him know. because there was just a miscommunication. I'm sure it was on my part where I actually gave it to the guy who commissioned the artwork and helped me, when we collaborated to make it. He he did all the dimensions that I gave him and he built the artwork, but it turns out it's a little too small. And I'll show you real quick here. So all the artwork is fine for the side art and everything. It's perfectly sized. I already matched it up and it looks really good, for the side art to go on. However, the admin panel, I believe, is too big. Can you see that? So you have the edge going right there and it goes over when it's not supposed to. So all I have to do basically, it's actually good that I have to shrink it down, but I have to shrink it down in a way that this here doesn't shrink because these are the instructions and they're already small as it is. They were translated from Japanese to English by a guy. So I basically want the admin panels to fall right on here. So I have to just redesign the whole thing. I'll measure to see what it is. We'll get the right measurements. It's about 5 inches too long. It should have been 20 inches and it's 25. I think the height is fine, but just the, I just have to condense it a little bit, which shouldn't be a problem because we have a lot of play on the side and stuff. So that's that. And then same thing, the control panel is 25 inches when it shouldn't be. So if I were to line up the control panel on here, you could see here that, here, let me open it a little more. It's kind of an awkward angle here, but I'll make it work. Hang on a second. All right. So you can see that this is way too big. The joystick sizes and everything match, where the buttons are and everything. It's just I have to lop off the sides. So this template itself is fine, but it's just a little too long on either side. So because of that, I have to move this artwork. It might actually be better that this portion is going to be centered right on the joystick. That's probably what I'll do is I'll center it here, I'll center that, and then I just have to move and resize everything. But for the most part, this is good, that's good. Just this right here, and also the control panel. So this has to be redone. So I'm going to ask Joe Sable. It's probably easier to do it through him because I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my control panel with me and the admin panel. Oh, and the marquee, that's the other thing too. The marquee was also too long. And plus I need to recut it. I think what I'm going to do, instead of using this channel here with the T-molding, I'm actually just going to take a piece of plastic, kind of like what I did with the Harman Customs, where there's a piece of plastic that goes here, put it across, that's painted black from the inside so it looks nice and shiny. Same thing over here, and just ignore this channel altogether and just put the the paper right over it. So if I were to look at the marquee the way it is, it's supposed to fit on the inside, but instead what I want it to do is I want to go on the outside like that, where it kind of fits in there, and then I put the channel over it, and then you put a screw here, here, and here. Same thing, it'll be a little longer so it's on the bottom, and I'll put a screw here, here, and here. I think it'll be a lot cleaner that way. So I'm taking kind of a design that was there, but this, like I said, it's a more custom bar top. We have to do a little more footwork and work to get it, exactly like you want it. But it'll work out. It'll be fine. I have the other Harman Customs kits. Those are more, they're easier to assemble. There's still some parts involved. Like you still got to do the same thing with the monitor. It's a little bit of a pain, but they're just a little easier where everything fits correctly. You don't have to paint it. Painting this was a long chore, I have to say. But still, it's a more custom cabinet that's more built. Like I like getting my hands dirty with stuff, so this is awesome. But again, Game Room Designs in Canada, he designs better. He no longer has this in stock. He actually, I think he sold the rights, I heard, to some other company, so they bought the CNC rights, so he can't use it. But then he designed it because he knows all this stuff. He designed it from the ground up, where you have stuff, if you like assembling IKEA furniture, he has one where it has cam locks where you can assemble the whole thing in an hour and it's all good to go. And I think it has veneer on it too, or laminate, some sort of laminate, so that you don't have to paint it as well. I'd really like to check one of those out actually, but for now, this is what I had. I got it a few years ago when he had it, and I'm finally getting around to building it, and I think it's going to be awesome. The fact that he doesn't sell them anymore makes it a unique cabinet in my opinion, and I love being unique, so. But still, he does some great stuff. That's Rick over at Game Designs, Game Room Designs. .ca, I believe it is. So yeah, so find this stuff. So all right, guys, I guess at this point I'm just going to end this episode. Thanks for subscribing. We guys, you know, we're over 3,000 subscribers now, which is awesome, and it's growing every day. I'm on Twitter as well. It's at Del's Arcade over there, and you can just check out what I'm talking about. Or I'm sure you've already seen a picture of this because I put it up on Twitter by now. But if you're following me on there, you'll see stuff before it actually gets posted here. Or if you have any ideas, I might do some polls on there where I might start changing the times. If Fridays at 10 a.m. is not good for you guys, maybe I'll do it in the evening. Maybe I'll do it on a different day. Live shows, stuff like that. You know, I also do unlisted videos on there as well, with stuff that I taped. Like when I was at Jay's, I did an unlisted video of his unofficial, you know, video of his game room down there. We will return and do a full one, but still, it's pretty cool. So that's it. Thanks again for subscribing. Hit the like button as well, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.